Hello, everybody. It's Aiden here with Clean Pro, and today I have the pleasure of meeting and interviewing with Junior Gitan, who owns JEM Cleaning and Property Maintenance in New Jersey. And Junior, welcome.
Good to have me, Aiden.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to be on the show here. What we do is we like to talk with different cleaning companies, all at different levels, um, and just kind of find out a bit about yourself and the successes and the setbacks you've had and the lessons learned, and we pass those on to other people, and they take that and they do their own thing with it. More I usually like to start with though is I always think back to, I don't know why I do, but I date myself. I always think back to the Seinfeld episode, right? And uh, Kramer's trying to get away from getting a speeding ticket, and because he was so upset because he always wanted to be a banker, right? And him and Newman, they got this scam, and he always wanted to be a banker. It always makes me think, and the thing like nobody always wanted to be in the cleaning industry. Like most of us don't grow up and go, you know what, one day I'm going to own a cleaning company, and this is what I'm going to do. Usually it's a little sexier than that. Um, so I'm going to assume the same, but maybe not. But kind of, did you plan to get into this? Did you fall into this? Kind of, what's your backstory a little bit?
So, no, I didn't plan to be I guess, what do you call that? High-end janitor.
Yeah,
Going from school, you're like, oh, janitors, they have all the keys. No, that's not the ideal job.
yeah.
So I kind of just, yeah, I did fall into it. Little backtrack, my degree is engineering. I'm an electrical engineer.
Oh,
So where I was working at, I was in my field and about like 12 years, 13 years, their cleaning company couldn't do it no more. So the owner of the company asked me, he was doing it himself. So then he asked me, hey, do you want to make a couple bucks? And I was like, sure. So he's like, yeah, just do the cleaning for us twice a week. And I'm like, why not? So I was doing the cleaning for about like maybe for like 8 years, just doing it like that. It was
oh,
just
wow.
a part-time job. And I always, growing up, I was just worked forever. I always had like two jobs. So I had that job for cleaning for 8, 10, yeah, probably a little more, like 10 years. And sooner or later, my old business partner, he reached out to me. He's like, hey, I want to open a cleaning business, but I don't know anything about it. And I know that you've been cleaning. So I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. He just pays me and I just do it. So we put our heads together, and that took about a year. And that was about 6 years ago. And we ended up with Gem Cleaning Property Maintenance. And we're like, where do we go from here? And first things first, we just like, let's just call people that we know, friends, family. Hey, do you know anyone that needs cleaning or whatever? And yeah, my she's my neighbor now. My neighbor calls, hey, yeah, we do need a cleaning company. So we came in. She actually gave us a backtrack because she was doing the the invoicing for the old company. So she said,
Okay, yeah.
they're charging us this much. And we're like, okay, we'll charge a little bit more, like $10 more. Going the first day, we're in there for 8 hours, two of us. We made like $3.
Yeah.
So we're like, I don't know if we're doing this right. I'm like, I don't know either, but we stuck with it. And, and then finally we got faster at it, more efficient. You find those things like anything. Once you get into something, you don't know what to expect. And we finally we got all right, we got it down to like an hour, one person, and then they were satisfied. We did that for a couple months, and then we got another referral from another friend, and that's how the baby steps. But we didn't leave our old jobs, so we were doing this part-time basis.
Yeah,
Um,
and as we talk to people, not everybody, but a lot of them, that's how they started, right? They started going to networking events or asking friends or family. What was, basically is considered your power base, right? Like that's a great way to start. Um, I started cleaning business. Who needs cleaning, right? And get some cash flow going in. Um, so that's kind of like my next question was kind of like, your what was your sales strategy? You kind of went over that. What I'm interested to find out though is uh, just basically from what it sounds like, you had a part-time job, you were doing the job, so you were doing the work, you weren't really doing any bidding and stuff. Um, what was that learning curve like, and how did you get to the point where you started to realize, like you just said, you basically did that one job and lost money and worked for like $3? Um, how did you learn to start bidding and what to bid? Because that's a very dangerous game. If you right, like if you're two under, you're gonna get the job, but you're gonna be there and lose a lot of money. If you're too high, you just price yourself out of the game. So that's kind of a sweet spot. So what was your kind of learning curve? How did you go about that?
Yeah, we were well, we did set up a website and we did get some calls. And surprisingly, a lot of people told us how much they were paying someone to do it.
Yeah.
Now, it's either myself or my business partner at that time just saying the right questions and not being like, oh, so how much is it? And we're just going to go a little bit lower. Everyone just kind of, I guess we're our personalities maybe.
Yeah.
Uh, they were like, hey, it's this much. We're like, all right. But and then all right, we'll give you a quote in like 2 days. And we're like, how do we do this? So we'll bump our heads. I'm like, well, we kind of think it's more than that. They're like so cheap. That's like making like $12 an hour. So we just gotta raise it up and just hopefully we get it. And then sometimes they were like, we want to stick with you. You guys have a great personality like that. And we were higher and still gave us the account.
Yeah.
Then we started measuring that specific account. We started measuring how long it should take and how much you're going to pay someone to do it. So we got to the point where it's not really how the square footage. I've heard a lot of people saying the square footage, they do it by square footage. They just do like 3 cents a square foot or whatnot. But we're like, well, if it's 1,000 square feet and there's one desk in it, compared to 100 desks for the same square footage, it's actually going to take longer. So we did it. We figured out that it was just based on time. We had to estimate how long it's going to take, and how long it's going to take, and how long we're going to pay someone, how much we're going to pay someone, and figure out our percentage of what's our gross profit.
Yeah.
And it was all just a learning curve for that one account. So we're like, all right, we have a business account. I mean, a cleaning business that seemed like they've been around for a while. So we got a lot of information from that one account, and we just based it on like that, and then getting more accounts here and there. And it's a lot of referrals too. Hey, you know someone, if you're from that area, you get the
Yeah.
same referrals for that area. And
Yeah,
then
thousand percent. I know everyone has kind of different ways of bidding and doing the job, right? And we had Joel from Joel's Facility Consulting on here, and he brought up a good point that he's doing what you're doing, but then he started getting into I think like warehouse and industrial a little bit, and then as you start getting into that, you got way more different soil loads come into the bathrooms and stuff like that. It's a filthy bathroom instead of just you know unseen microorganisms in and around the bathroom, right? And all these different soil loads. So yeah, everybody has a different usually a different way of bidding. But it's always neat to talk to people and find out how they go about it, because that's that's one of the things, especially for people that were watching this. A lot of them are starting off, and um, they're trying to grow a business, but they're also still thinking like a tradesperson, right? Oh, well, I'm worth $25 an hour. It's going to take me 8 hours, right? And you want to get out of that and go into a business and go, okay, well, this is my time's this, and we bill at this. So it's always interesting to see different philosophies and stuff. So that's kind of your sales philosophy, which kind of is great. When you start talking about marketing, I know you have a very nice website. It's what's your website again? Jem's Cleaning.
JEMcommercialcleaning.com.
Gem Commercial Cleaning. That's right. Yeah, nice website. Very well done. Nice logo, truck, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So that's obviously one piece of your marketing. But what do you do, or do you, as from a marketing standpoint? Do you do SEO? Do you do Facebook ads? Do you do cold outreach? What's your marketing kind of slash sales look like?
So on the marketing, yes, we have a website, and then we do have the logos and the phone numbers on my van. So I sometimes I just drive around for like, hey, I'm going out to lunch. I'm gonna just sit at a parking lot in the corner of a busy intersection.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have lunch for an hour. I do that for a week and see what happens. They see me a lot in the local area. And they were like, your van is everywhere. And they think I have multiple vans, but I don't. I just have one van. Um, but that's one marketing. I mean, the referrals. And as far as Facebook ads, yes, I was doing I do the Facebook ads for a couple. I think I was doing it for 6 months. So that's part of the marketing, actually.
Yeah.
And that's all I have right now.
Well, and it's great because you're in a small, not a small area, but it's new. You're in Jersey, right? But I mean,
Yes.
it's a big area, but it's a small area. You're not global, regional, and stuff like that. So a lot of people you're right. You're the people driving by. They're going to see that truck, and they might not remember that your phone numbers are driving by, right? I mean, I don't remember phone numbers. It's very hard unless it's like 1-800 got flowers or something, right? Like whatever.
Exactly.
I can't remember that, but I'm gonna remember Gem Cleaning, and I can punch up JEM Cleaning in Google and find you in 10, in 10 seconds. So
Right.
and that's great because people in your local area are gonna start to build trust by seeing your truck over a period of time. You just
Yeah, they do. And surprisingly, they say, "Oh, I actually like that logo. That's why I called you. I just
yeah.
like it. Like it's nice. It just pops out." And I'm like, oh, that feels good, actually. They're really, really, you don't know what hits, but because we did have a previous car that was really small and they didn't stand out, but this one's
Yeah.
like big. I'm coming down the road and I take that thing everywhere. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah, I mean, so that is just a great way to do things. It's the upfront cost of getting your car logoed, but you can probably write that off, and then the amount of eyes that are going to see that over a period of time, as you mentioned, just parking in a busy intersection at prime times during the day, right? Like,
yeah,
what?
I'm thinking between 11:30 and 1 o'clock, maybe, because people
Yeah,
come out to lunch. Uh, I mean, can I do it in the morning? But I can't. But I'm like, let me have an excuse and actually sit there for an hour and a half, eat lunch, listen to the radio, and just like, oh, people are coming out to lunch. Hey, I'm driving by. Oh man, we do need a cleaning person. That kind of thing. That's what I'm thinking.
a thousand
And
percent. Because I personally believe that that's more powerful than if you had had a billboard right there. Because if you have a billboard right there, the people that pass by are going to see that billboard once or twice, and then it just becomes part of the scenery of their daily routine, and they no longer see it. They just go by. There's that billboard, but they're going to drive by today, and it's not there. Right.
right.
And then they're going to drive by tomorrow, it's not there. And then they're going to drive by the next day. Oh, there it is. Right. And so they start paying more attention to it because it's a pattern interrupt. It doesn't just become something that they stare at every day and that. So it's actually, I don't know if that was done on purpose or not, but that's actually a great marketing tactic because yeah, one week it's over here, Mondays it's over
Yeah.
here, Tuesdays it's over there, wherever. Right.
Yeah, that's kind of like it just popped in my head. Like, hey, let's just try it.
Yeah.
Is it gonna hurt? Not
Well, like
really.
you said, some people think you have multiple trucks, right?
Yeah.
So,
Right, right.
um, as you've gone from just basically having a job, you started the
Mhm.
company, you had a partner, start growing, start getting referrals, start getting a base, getting a customer base. Um, so you mentioned what you're doing to get new customers. What are you doing to keep clients and what's working and what's not working, what's working and what What do you see from that standpoint?
I see, like, to keep my clients, I see that me being visible, just calling, hey, how's everything going? Oh, great. They look surprised that I'm actually calling them. Either they didn't have that service before, or they just, this guy cares. And I get that a lot. Like, I'll go, it depends on the client. Some of them are, hey, I'm in the, it's very easy. You could just say, hey, I'm in the area. I just stopped by to, how's everything? And they were like, oh, everything's great, this and that. And then you talk about anything besides cleaning, and it's great. It brings a smile to all the clients. Every client has my cell phone number, just in case anything happens. But uh, and or extra services. Sometimes say, hey, do you do this? I'm like, yeah, I do. So I think that is a law goes a long way of retaining. It gives them like, oh, I have to call a cleaning company. What if they're not good? Yeah, I'm like, I'm staying with this guy. He's great.
1,000%. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's about relationships and trust, and the fact they have your phone number and that. So, and they probably feel a level of trust with you that if the person doing the work is doing a shitty job or something, they feel comfortable phone coming to you saying,
Right.
hey, I've asked the guy a couple of times, can you help me? As opposed to they don't hear from you, they don't know who to really reach out to, and now they're angry, they're frustrated. When they do call you, it's an angry call instead of, hey, Junior, I've asked a few times, this isn't happening. What can you do? And it gives you an opportunity to fix something before it becomes a big, huge issue, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of past guests have said, and that's one of the things that they said was an event. We had one guest that had a franchise,
Hmm.
and then went to his own and has grown great. He said the difference being is that when you're own the business like you do, your last out is I can change the cleaning staff. Whereas if a franchise and they're basically subcontractors and stuff like that, and they kind of own that job, you can't really replace the cleaners. They have to replace the new company.
Right.
So that kind of thing. So that's great. Now, over the last few years, as you've been growing and expanding and stuff like that, you obviously went through COVID. Um,
Right.
have you seen have you seen any changes, lasting changes from COVID? Have you seen it? What industry trends or anything have you seen? Or is it back to business as usual? What's your take on where the industry kind of what trends are happening right now, if any?
Yeah, I don't see any. I think it's back to how it was. I didn't see anything like, hey, I want to continue. For example, when COVID did hit, my business did pick up, as far as the electrostatic sprayers, sanitizing everything, clean 2, 3 times a day, whatever people, at that time people didn't know. And that worked. Everyone was panicked.
Yeah.
But then as soon as a year later, I did that for the first year, and then a year later, I think everyone just like, oh, okay, everything's going back to normal. There's no need for, oh, you don't have to come back here twice a day to clean, spray, or anything, deep cleans. It's just been back for me, back to normal business. Just clean. No need to go over and get ATP meters, which is like swabbing the surface to see if there's any microorganisms there and stuff like that, which we
Yeah,
were doing. So.
I thought COVID was going to change a lot of things, and people be very anal about making sure you're disinfecting and all that stuff. But it does seem like it's kind of gone back pretty much normal. Maybe there's a few people that are a little more conscious of it and want to pay a little bit more for disinfecting services and what have you. But it definitely didn't change it like I thought it would. I really thought that it was going to become,
Right. Hmm.
you know what I mean? I thought it was going to become like I thought it was going to take the cleaning industry and elevate us and keep us there. And I'm not sure it's done that. I think it maybe a little bit more, but you know what I mean? Like it wasn't something now that all of a sudden everyone 100% says cleaning is a major focus of this organization. We're going to invest in it because of this. That didn't happen. I kind of thought that would happen. Um,
Right.
uh, but people are more aware, and that's a good thing. Now shifting gears to as you're growing, I know you've got you're expanding and you're hiring and getting employees and stuff like that. Um, what's your secret sauce? Like, how are you getting people? And more importantly, once you get them, are you keeping them? And if you are, how are you keeping them?
So a lot of the employees, I was doing the Indeed online presence to get applicants, and it did work. You know, you do get hundreds of resumes and stuff. That was at the beginning, but now I got a lot of referrals. People are just looking for extra money, extra money. Either is the economy or their job is not making ends meet. So they I get referrals. The last five employees have been referrals or
Wow.
old employees that wanted to come back. And I've if they're new, what I usually do is I work with them at the facility,
Yeah.
getting to know them and working with them, training, hey, this is what they want. I know you clean a toilet differently than I do, but I do it like this. You can follow it, but as long as it's sanitized or disinfected and do it like this. Now, if you can make it, I'll pay you this amount of hours to do this account. It shouldn't take no longer than that.
Yeah.
And some people go over or under, but then I see their performance. I don't get any callbacks from my clients, and when I do that, I do reward them with a bonus here. Hey, I just looked at all your accounts. No, no, and here's $150, for example.
Nice. Yeah.
And I don't tell them. And one employee was like, "You gave me extra money. Was it a mistake?" I'm like, "No, it wasn't, because I went to the accounts and this is what I do while you guys are working. I do keep an eye on you guys."
Yeah.
And they appreciate it. I
Yeah.
mean, just actually any money, everyone appreciates it.
Oh,
$50, $100.
1000%, 1000%. Um, just as we move to close out here, just two more questions for you. Um, uh, so you've gotten your business to a certain level now. You've got you got the employees and stuff. What's your future growth plans? What's your strategy? Where do you see yourself being in the next 3 to 5 years? And where's Gem headed?
Well, I do want to expand. My goal right now, I could tell you, I have 30 accounts. My goal is to have 100 accounts. Uh, just kind of around the value size, because I know there's so many different, everyone needs cleaning, but for me, I have a number of 100 accounts at $500 a month. It gives you what, 600. I'm at like 600. Is it 600K or whatever it is, whatever the number is?
Yeah.
And for just medium-sized offices, not too big, not too small, just kind of medium-sized, like for example, a lawyer's office,
Yeah.
or that's kind of where it's for me, it's because it's easy to maintain, it's cleaner.
Yeah.
Now I do have a couple accounts that are dirtier, but and those are generally from referrals. So I kind of don't want to say no to them. Oh, I got referred to that. I got to do it, kind of. But that's a balance that you learn through the business. Like, you don't want to say yes to everything and not hinder your performance at meeting those needs.
Yeah.
So right now I have a lot of lawyers' offices, and I have a medical building, but that's pretty easy. I kind of like the easy road. I like 100 accounts,
No,
500
that's
a month. That's
yeah.
how
And when uh, what I hear you saying is you want that kind of that sweet spot where you are doing, let's say, the lawyers' offices and stuff like that. And so those type of accounts are great because once you get them, like you don't usually lose them you don't lose them. It's not like they're not usually going out to bid like a big huge corporation.
Right.
going to bid. So once you're in there, and as long as you do a good job, they don't see any reason to leave. So as long as they have a relationship with you, the cleaning is getting done, those accounts can last, you know, 5,
Yeah.
10, 15, whatever plus years.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. Like the bigger accounts, it's more of a bidding war, and they generally just tend to go to a smaller, the less number, the
Yeah,
least number. No
yeah,
matter what relationship you might have,
yeah.
it goes to the counter, the treasury, and they said, "Oh, this guy is only $30 less. We're just going with him,"
That's
and
right.
they don't even have to. You're like, but the medium size of, like, for example, lawyer's office, you have their relationship and you stay with them for a long time. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
even if you charge a little more, they're like, oh, it's junior. I'll trust a guy,
1,000%.
and they're willing to pay it as long as because they're the ones that see clients that are coming into their office spending money, and we all know lawyers' fees are high.
Yeah.
Spending it, so their place has to be immaculate, almost.
Well, it's a great strategy. It's a great strategy because once you get to the 100 and they're in that ballpark, then they're solid. They're gonna be hard to knock you out, and then you have a very solid foundation. Whether or not you want to grow from there or sell from there, you have some. You have like a great business that's solid. That isn't like it's one thing to have $1 million customer as $1 million business as an example, and 350,000 is with one account. Like you lose that account and you're letting people go and what have you. Whereas if all your accounts are in, within in that sweet spot there, then if you lose one, and you're only going to probably lose it because they close down, they move away, or
Right.
retire, what happens.
Well,
Uh,
somebody in the office needs a job, needs to clean. Like how I got in. Hey,
yeah,
somebody needed to clean out where I used to work. So you said, hey, you want to make extra money? Okay,
there you go.
there
There
you
you
go. I
go.
understand.
Last question for you. Um, uh, Knowing what you now know, you've been in you did the working for 8 years. You've been doing your own business roughly for about 8 years, right? So
Six years.
6 years. So you're in around the 14 headed to the 15-year mark. Um, uh, Knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self starting off? What would be the one or two things that had you done that back then, you would have grown faster or whatever would have happened? What's the one or two things that you wish you had done back then that you're starting to do now or going to do now or what have you?
I think from my knowing my 20s and what I know now, I definitely would probably hang out with a different crowd. Just like people that are successful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do that with my son now. He's in his 20s. He's 22 years old. And he's still here.
Yeah.
And I'm telling him, hey, if you need any ideas, that, like, I'm trying to mentor him. So it's almost like no one really mentored me
Yeah.
as far as being successful. Like, if I like, think about it, I'm like 20 years old. I mean, yeah, you want to party and do all this thing, but at the same time, it's like, oh man, it would have been great if I knew, probably had that person, or because my parents weren't around. I was on my own and just was comfortable where I was at. Oh, I'm making a few bucks, not paying the bills. But if somebody that I looked up to would say and was successful, I would try to, like, go in that direction and probably be more successful today. I mean, almost 30 years later, it would have been, I don't know, probably be retired right now.
Well, you bring up a great point, and I agree. I'm the same way. I've got buddies that I've been buddies with since we were 14 years old. Going on 40, almost 40 years. Great guys. Would never change them on my buddies, but you get stuck in this kind of this rut, and you just get up. Hey, what are you gonna do? Let's go have a beer. Let's go do this. And looking back, if I had surrounded people that were like, no, I'm shooting for the stars, I'd have gone, oh, there's stars to shoot for, right?
Yeah.
I found out there were stars to shoot for when I was later in life, right? After I had the kids and all that stuff, it's like, oh, so I can relate. And that's why that's one of the reasons why we're starting the Clean Pro community, because that's what I have found. That's what I need, and that's what I think other people need is uh oh, that's possible. I didn't know that, right? And it doesn't mean you don't leave your friends and all that stuff. I mean,
Right.
they're buddies, but you surround yourself around working professionals as well, right? And that's why networking events or ISSA or these different conferences and stuff are good. They're not so much, you could go and watch it live, live on the internet and save half the
Yeah.
costs, not fly and all that stuff. But it's the going there, meeting people, connecting, having connections, um, which is what I needed to do better, and that. So I that resonates with me. Um,
Right.
so that's great advice. And I don't know how old you are, but you don't look like you have. I thought you were like in your early 30s. So to have a
No,
20,
no. I'm 46 years old.
early 46, but
Yeah, my
yeah.
son's 22, gonna be 22, and my younger son is 15.
Okay, so you had your first kid at 24.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's not too bad. Well, good for you. You got good genes. You look young.
Thank
Well,
you,
you are
thank you.
young, but you don't look like
Yeah.
you have a 22-year-old. I was a little surprised there. Anyhow, well, hey, thank you very much for doing this. This is great. It's always great to get different ideas, different perceptions, perspectives. Uh, Obviously, everyone can find you. Will know how to find you. Just do an internet search, but maybe just let everyone know, what platforms are you on? How can they find out about you?
Yes, my website is www.gemcommercialcleaning.com. It's on the Facebook, Instagram. I think those are the only two platforms. So I'm going to expand a little bit on that, but those are the only two platforms I have.
Well,
And
those are great platforms. Yeah, if you're not on LinkedIn, LinkedIn might be a good one to be on. Just to have more of a community, but you're not getting any sales from it, I don't think.
right.
Um, but all those links and stuff will be in the show notes down below.
Okay.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking with a junior with JEM Cleaning and Property Maintenance based out of New Jersey. Uh, you can click the link below to find out more about them. And until next time, welcome and thank you for watching Clean Pro.